Hey everyone, SolieSims here again, and we are once again doing a speed build, and this time I am doing a cottage in collaboration with Miss Geniesims, and I am going to put in her link for her channel in the description box below. And guys, you need to follow her if you haven't as yet. She's a really awesome YouTuber, and she does some amazing shout outs, some amazing let's plays and CAS as well. In this collaboration, I am tasked with doing a cottage for a specific type of sim that she is going to be creating. The sims I'm going to be building this cottage for, it is a single mother with a female toddler, and they both love the outdoors. The mom is very artistic, and so I did this little cottage with that in mind. She said that she would have liked for the backyard to have enough space for the toddler to do some slides and play in her little kiddie pool, and for the mom to have a little studio at least. And when I designed this house, when I did the floor planning for this house, I never remembered that I had to do the studio, so that came in after, because I was really focusing on trying to make the outline of the house look a certain way. And I was satisfied with how it came out, and I was just so happy with everything. The biggest thing for me, and I'm always saying this, guys, is the landscaping. You guys know I have an issue with having to do landscaping. It's always a real headache for me in terms of trying to get it right. But I decided I'm going to tackle the outside first, and then I will work my way inside, which is why I never noticed that my floor plan for the inside just did not actually fit. Now, I built this cottage on that lot. I think it's a 30 by 20 on the little island in Windenburg, and I was considering putting in a fence, but for some reason, and this drove me completely crazy, we don't have gates to match the fences, and I struggled with this for a little while, going through different fences, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just not going to bother with this. I'm going to do a hedge instead, a hedge fencing instead. I think it would fit with the environment better, considering they're on this little island anyway, and they don't really need to have a fence area, and I think the hedge worked better as well, considering she has this little girl, so the child won't wander off or do anything, to get herself in trouble when she is in the backyard. Now, I decided I'm going to put in a little, because she likes the outdoor, a little sand pit for her, so she can play and do all of these little things that little girls like to do. I also put a dollhouse there, and I think it just suits the whole outside area better. Now, you see that I did put in some little toys in the sandbox, but then when I was playtesting it, the nanny who came in, she cleaned up the toys, she put it away, but she left the plain blocks outside, and I think it just suited it well. I did make a small deck because the backyard is a bit small, mostly because I wanted the front yard to be wide enough. I wanted them to be able to play not just in the back but in the front as well, which is why I put the water bucket in front under the tree, so that they can play, well, when the toddler ages up a bit, that they'll be able to play there and everything. And in the back, I mostly focused one corner, especially with the tree, with the for the toddler to be able to play, and I just put this little deck in the back for the mom. Now, because she is an outdoor sim, I thought that her having to do maybe some gardening, if she chose to do that anyway. Just put in some three little pots in there and just make the place all colorful and bright, because I imagine her to be an artistic sim. Since she is an artistic sim, rather, for her to be just whimsical and like bright colors. And I mean, I know the cottage on the external wall, the exterior, it doesn't really shout whimsical, etc. But I think the design of the house, the overall design of the house, does make it seem a bit like a fairy tale type cottage, even though the colors are a bit muted. And I focus mostly on the inside in terms of the decoration of the colors. That's where I think I did the most of it. Now, I decided to do a little entryway. So you don't exactly just walk in. And with most of my builds, I normally put the umbrella stand just inside of the door. And I thought that maybe because this is more like a cottage type, and then the place is already so small, there would be this little walkway. You come in, you sit, you take off your shoes, etc. And if you have anything wet, if you can in terms of your umbrella, you can put it there. You can leave anything on the outside just there, and I think that worked very, very well. And on the inside now, I'm trying to separate the rooms and decide what it is I'm going to do. And I realized that as much as I wanted it to be a certain way in terms of that small room being the bathroom, I realized that it was just too tiny to be an actual bathroom. And then I realized I did not take into consideration space for the studio, so I did it upstairs. Now guys, I don't know how you go ahead and build and design your houses. I see most of the YouTubers that I follow anyway, that they normally have the outline done for the house, and they do the planning in terms of the floor plan on the inside. I never really work like this. I never have an idea of how I want the interior of my house to be until I sit and think and look at it and say, okay, well, this is going to do this is going to do that. I may see a house that I like and I will attempt to recreate it, but I never take thought of how I want the interior to be until after. But anyway, I separated it in, well, 2 bedrooms, and I did an open living and kitchen her, and I wanted the little girl's room to be like a little haven to her, little princess room basically, because she's her mom's only child, and the mom is just so crazy about her, so she went all out and she gave her this little princess bed. And I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the mat. I really wanted to do something like make it big and stand up, but that didn't work obviously, so I just went with what I did. And mommy likes to read to her to make sure that she builds up her imagination. So there is the little chair tucked in the corners for reading, etc. And then there is the little nightlight, as well as her little teddy that she likes to snuggle with at night when she is reading. And for a feature wall, I decided to do a mirror framed by curtains, just because I think that can be like her little make-believe section, where she like little children always want to pretend like they're all grown up. So this is her little section for her to do that. And I just did some simple wall decorations to help bring in the room, and I added in just some little whimsical touches to make it look more inviting and more of that for a little child. And I think it worked out pretty well, and the mom just went all out and she got her some really good stuff. And guys, I don't know what's going on with the windows. Every time I turned around, the window was gone, so I had to keep putting it back. But again, you will see that shortly. So this is basically what I have done with the daughter's room, and that is now complete. Now for the mom's room, because she is such an artistic sim, I believe that and this is something that I want in my own house as well, guys, my own bedroom. I really want a focus wall, and there are some of my builds that I actually tried to get to do the focus wall, and this is definitely one of them. I felt green is such a powerful color. It is my favorite color. It really is. And I just felt that a green is a nice, powerful color. And if the rest of the room is a bit muted in tone in terms of the walls, I think I just left it as a plain white color on the walls, the other walls, and just that one focus wall I left green, and I just did some shelving on the top. And for the mom, because she is an artistic sim, I put in lots of different paintings. Now again, because she is doing her own paintings, I didn't go overboard in terms of decorating the house with it, because I figured Geniesims might want to make her own sims put up their own paintings when they get it done. So I didn't do too much in terms of decorating all over the place, just a few little things, wall decorations that I actually did. And so I put a whole bunch of paintings over the top of the bed, and just a few little decorative pieces on top of the shelving above the bed. So maybe it's a case where the she does some crafts with her daughter, and they've done these cards and stuff, and that's where she wants to display them. And I think it worked out pretty well. I did not have that much space in the bedroom for me to do everything that I wanted to do in terms of I always try to put at the foot of the bed a sitting area or something, just to make the room seem a little bit more inviting. But there wasn't enough space because it was so limited. So I ended up putting the chair right all the way in the corner, and I cluttered up her dresser as well, because I mean, she's just a type of sim. She is just that, all about color, all about flair, so she would want this. So yes, being the type of sim she is, that is just how she would have wanted her dresser to be. Now I just put in, like I said, the little chair in the corner just to finish tying off the room. Obviously one corner of the room is not accessible at all, and that is completely fine, because I think it just works well enough. You don't need that extra space anyway for you to be able to do anything. Now for the bathroom, I decided to rearrange the spot that I was putting it in. I moved it from the front entrance area and decided to put it next to the rest of the bedrooms, and use the area underneath the staircase as the toilet area, because it does allow, you can actually use it, it is usable. The space on top of the toilet, however, I had to close it off a bit with a railing, and because I used stone on the outside of the build, I decided that yes, I wanted to put stone on the inside as well. So eventually you will see that I cut it off, and that is what I did with this build. Now after I did this, I realized that hey, I did not put in a potty for the toddler, but I ended up putting it in her room. So it works out regardless. And I just think at the end of it all, it's not a bad idea to put a potty in the toddler's bedroom, because she will want to get up and use the potty probably in the middle of the night. And I mean, realistically, I don't think that she'll be able to go all the way into the bathroom sometimes, right? So now we're moving on to the kitchen, and I wanted, like I said, to have the kitchen and the bathroom, not the bathroom, the kitchen and the living room. And so I went with a classical green kitchen, because of course, like I said, green is my favorite color, but I just think it just ties in very nicely. Now, I really wanted to showcase the windows that we had in the game, and that I put in, and I really did not want to cover up the window, especially the one in the front next to the fridge, the big one in the front next to the fridge. So I rearranged it a bit and switched around the stuff so that you can just walk in. It's like a little aisle, and that worked out fine. I think it did work out fine in the end. And I will be changing the location of the table limit. I'll be pulling it out a little bit more because I just felt that it seemed to be too pushed up against the wall. Now we don't have that much in terms of counter space for working on the in the kitchen, and because space is limited, I did decide to put the microwave, again because of lack of counter space. I just put the microwave on the small end of the counter right there. Well, you'll see right there I changed it. And then after I did all of this, I realized I did not put in a high chair, but that is fine. I mean, me personally, whenever the high chair never really occurred to me, because whenever I play with toddlers, I think it's always a hassle to put them in the high chair and try to get the food to them. So I just normally just put the food down and have them take it like that. I think it's just easier. And I do apologize, Jeannie, if you really wanted a high chair. I guess it's something that you can just add in anywhere. There, we probably take off one of the chairs by the table and have it incorporated in there. And again, I wanted to go with two different tones in the living room, so I went with like a beige color and a green as well on the inside, like a pale green, just to kind of tie in with the counters and the floors that I used. Now the living room space, as you can see, it is kind of small, it's very small, but because it is a cottage, it's supposed to be a bit of a cozy build. Now, once again, I did not do a lot of decorations on the walls, like I said, because if anything, I figured she would want to put her own art up on the walls eventually. And right now we're just trying to find a comfortable enough seating arrangement here. And I struggled with the rugs that we can use, because once again, I really like that rug, that green rug. But once again, I believe that in terms of our selection for rugs, we're a bit limited. And I think it's probably a case where the more we have, the more we want, because we do have a wide selection of rugs. But I guess it's finding the right fit for what it is that we wanted that I was having a problem with. And again, what is up with the side tables? They are so huge, so I normally have to size them down, and I'm always having trouble in terms of placing the stuff exactly where I want it. It's just not working out for me in terms of the placement of the stuff on the table and the side tables after I've minimized them, of course. And I always feel that a cottage type build would have something of a ceiling fan, because from my experience, concrete or brick tend to trap the heat inside, especially at night. And it's all good and well during the winter months, and I guess even then you don't get that the sun isn't as warm. So I had to install a ceiling fan to help circulate some air, not just in the spring, but also in summer, especially in summer when it gets really, really hot. And I envisioned her maybe throwing open her back door, because she lives very close to the water. So just to have that sea breeze come in. Well, I say it's a lake. It's not really the sea, in my opinion, from where they are in Windenburg. So just let that fresh water smell come in, and let the cooling breeze cool down the place. Maybe that's something that she can do in that area. And of course, I like to go into night mode for me to check to make sure that all the lights are where they're supposed to be and there is enough lights coming in for the build. Now, upstairs, I think this is probably one of my favorite rooms in the house. I think my two favorite rooms would have to be the toddler's bedroom and this one. I decided to go with really large windows upstairs just because she is that artistic creative type and she would want to be able to look out on the views to get inspiration because she is so close to the lake. There would be so much for her to see going on outside, and I think that would have been a perfect view for her, which is why the big windows are higher. I put as you may have noticed, I did put a clothesline outside and I also put a dryer inside and upstairs, simply because I think there will be days like on the rainy days when she will want to wash and dry on the inside, but because of the type of sim that she is, I envisioned her maybe going out occasionally and hanging up her clothing just to have that fresh sunshine smell on it. In reality, there's no fresh sunshiny smell, but I don't know, it just seems more crisp and fresh when it's after clothes come off of a line, having been out in the sun and just taking in, you know, that cool breeze to dry off. So I think that is the type of person that she would have been, to sometimes decide to wash inside and other times decide to hang out her clothes for it to dry. And I did give her not just an easel, I also gave her a sketch pad, and because she likes photography, that was another requirement. I did put in a little camera on top of the her desk for her, so this is her own personal space, and in the event that she wants to do any collections of any kind, there is enough shelving upstairs. That's her own little personal space. That's her place to get away from everything and just unwind. So I did upstairs just an airy open type feel. I wanted to just do a few finishing touches in the backyard, and guys, like I said, I always struggle with landscaping and it looks like it just happened there very quickly, but I stopped to think before I decided that yes, this is what I want to do, to have it end here. And again, we're doing some finishing touches in the front of the yard, and let me tell you, this was no fun at all for me. The landscaping, of this, I had a really tough time wondering what I wanted to put in the front there just to make everything tie in a bit, and I struggled with the front yard before I finally decided, well, okay, yes, this is the way for me to go with it. But guys, overall, I really enjoyed this build. I liked how everything turned out, and I think, like, apart from the two favorite rooms on the inside, I just love the outside feel of the build. It just reminds me of a nice little fairy tale type cottage, and it just looks very cute. So I do hope you guys go out and check it out in the gallery. It is up as Geniesims Cottage, and be sure to go and check out her CAS for this collaboration. And I thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.